Hey, welcome back to my channel Endless Pages. I'm Liv and welcome to today's video, which is my Lifeline book haul. Hey, so welcome to another Lifeline book haul. I've done a couple of these in the past. If you are unaware of what Lifeline is, maybe you're not Australian, it is a crisis support hotline, 24/7 phone line that is a suicide prevention hotline and other mental health issues, and basically they are a charity, so they're a non-for-profit, so they need support to keep them running. They also do like a chat feature and counseling and financial counseling and a bunch of other stuff. So if you need help or would like to learn more about Lifeline, I will pop their crisis support number and their website in the description below. Yeah, so basically Lifeline do these secondhand book sales every couple of months and just rotate it around a couple of locations. As I said, I have been to a couple of these sales in the past, but I started going, I think, a bit too frequently to these sales, and I think I was just starting to notice a lot of the same stuff, and each time I went I was getting less and less books because I was like, it's just the same old stuff here every time. So I've had a bit of a break from the sales, and that's definitely worked. I was like, maybe I just need to give it some time, let there be some fresh donations brought in, and by God was that the right thing to do, because this again was a very successful Lifeline book haul, and I spent a bunch of money that I don't have and don't have the budget to spend. So I got 9 books this time round, and this is the first book that I found. Oh my God, this is Ben Aaronvich's Rivers of London. Look at the condition this book is in, like, oh my God, such good condition. This is the first book in the Rivers of London series. It's kind of like an urban fantasy crime series. My God, I've been wanting to read this for so long. This is about a guy called Peter Grant, and is that his name? Yeah. And he's like a probationary constable, if that's, yes, for the Metropolitan Police, but he really wants to be a detective, and then there's this kind of really gruesome murder, and Peter gets this evidence from a witness who turns out to be a ghost. I can't believe that this is my first find of the day, like this incredibly popular fantasy book for $4, and one that I keep forgetting to reserve it at work, but every shift I go by and see if this is sitting on the shelf, and it's never on the shelf, it's always being borrowed. So yeah, it's a sign that I saw this. I was like, oh well, I have to get this book now. This sounds so fun, like paranormal crime fighting, like in London. I'm in. Next up, I got The Traveling Cat Chronicles by Hiro Awakawa. This was $6. It's a hardback, and again, look at the condition. $6? Yeah, $6. I saw this and I was like, this sounds so familiar, and I put it in the Discord, Merb's Discord. I was like, is this good? And people were like, 5 stars, beautiful. So I had to get it. This is about Nana the cat, and Nana is going on, is that the name? Me and names, man. Yeah. Nana and his owner are going on this road trip on the owner's van, and the owner wants to visit 3 friends from his youth, but he won't tell Nana like why they're going on the road trip, and I think it's learning about friendship. And I just feel like that this book is absolutely gonna emotionally devastate me. Like, I don't know for sure, but I just have a feeling that this is gonna be a sad book. I just thought the cover was so cute as well. It's like a short read. It sounds like a nice, wholesome book, and honestly, as crazy as this sounds, I'm kind of in the mood to be emotionally destroyed by a book. It's been a while and I'm kind of missing it. Is that crazy? Next up, I got The School for Good Mothers by Jessamine Chan for $9. Again, look at the condition. This was $33 at Harry Hart Hog, and I got it for $9. This is about this woman who is called Frida, and she's a struggling mum. She's obviously tired and stressed, and her baby's been screaming all night, and then she puts the baby down for a nap and then wants to do some work while the baby's asleep, and then was like, oh, I'll just like pop into the office, get the files that I left there and come back. And then she's deemed as like unfit to be a mum, and she is told by the state that she has to be re-educated and retrained, and soon it becomes a thing that all mothers must be re-educated. After reading The Push by Ashley Audren, I'm really in the mood to read those kind of fiction books around motherhood and parenthood and women and identity and all those kind of themes, and I feel like this book will fill that that need up. Although this is not a thriller, it's more described as like a female dystopian, but I'm also going through withdrawals because I haven't been reading enough dystopian books, so this is the perfect find for the kind of mood that I'm in at the moment. Next up, I found this young adult book, Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. Again, look at the condition. This one was $6 whole. Crazy price, so good. This was a really older YA. Actually, what year was this book published? 2016. Not as old as I thought. But yeah, it's been on my radar for quite some time, and I've just never made the commitment to buying it. So buying it at this price was so justified. In my mind, I'm justifying it because I'm like, it's only $6. Anyway, yeah, so this is a young adult, I think, historical fiction kind of book. I've had such a mixed experience with Alexandra Bracken. Her Darkest Mind series I love, but I recently DNF'd Law by her earlier this year, so I've had some I've loved, some I've hated from her. I know that this is one of her older ones, so I'll be interested to see how I find that, because The Darkest Minds was older than Law and I enjoyed that, so I don't know. Anyway, this is about this girl called Etta. That's right, and Etta is a violin prodigy, and then one day she's like kind of ripped from everything she knows and loves when she is pulled back in time to about 1776, and she ends up on this boat in the middle of this sea battle, and she ends up on this guy called Nicholas's boat, who is a privateer, and he is forced to confront his past with this powerful family called the Ironwood family, who won't let him go without a fight. And the Ironwood family is looking for this missing object that they believe that Etta can find and bring to them. So Etta and Nicholas are kind of forced together on this adventure where they must follow clues left behind by I can't say that word, left behind by a traveller, but as they get closer to the truth of their search and their deadly game the Ironwoods are playing, treacherous forces threaten to separate Etta from Nicholas and her way home forever. My next find was The Nightingale by Christine Hanna. This is a historical fiction. This is one I'm so nervous to read, but I'm going to give it a fair shot because I know that people absolutely adore this book. This one covers a little bit, I don't know if you can see that properly, a little bit like banged up, but it was $6, so it's fine. Yeah. This is set in France in 1939. It's about two kind of polar opposite sisters and their experience of World War II while Germany is invading France. This book, the purpose I think is to highlight the female perspective, which is not something we see often in war, you know, movies, books, etc. So yeah, this is about freedom and the human spirit and the durability of women. So those are the kind of key phrases that really made me purchase this book. So yeah, we'll see how I like it. I hope I do like it. I feel like it'd be bad if I don't like a Christine Hanna book. Next up was an interesting find, and that is this Uncorrected Bound Proof of the Silence Project by Carol Haley. Didn't know if you were allowed to resell these or it doesn't count because you donated it to charity. At first I felt a bit iffy about buying it, but I was like, it's really cool though. Like, look at this cool cover. It says on the front, activist, disruptor and trailblazer, and this is like a special edition because it's bound uncorrected proof, so it's like limited edition number, oh, you can't really see that, 120 of 150, which I thought was pretty cool. Anyway, yeah, I've had my eye on this book for a while, so when I saw it I kind of had to get it. This is a dystopian, again, as I said, I've been having dystopian withdrawal, so I had to get this as well. This is about this girl called Amelia, and on her 13th birthday her mother moves into this tent in their backyard, and then from then on, never says another word again. And then she's part of this kind of community, and all the women in this community also kind of stay silent. And then 8 years later, Amelia's mum and her community all set themselves on fire and obviously burned to death. And then because of that, this community is kind of gained a lot of popularity, and everyone kind of has opinions about Amelia's mum and what happened. And Amelia's never spoken publicly about it, but she decides to publish a memoir about her mum's life, about why she thinks that the community is kind of trying to read the blurb, and that's why I keep looking off to the side, about how the community has become really sinister. Yeah, so then Amelia for once finds her own voice. Again, I don't know if I should have this copy, but I do now, which is pretty cool. I'm really excited to read this because it sounds really cool and really interesting, and yeah, I'm excited to get into it. My next find was absolutely wild and definitely the find of the day. The 5th season by N.K. Jemisin. The 5th season! I found a copy of the 5th season for $5. The only thing is that it's a bit yellowed, but it's going to happen to my books anyway, so oh my god. I cannot believe this was the find of the day. It was actually quite funny. I was looking in the science fiction fantasy section, because obviously this is a dystopian science fiction novel, and there's a woman next to me, and you know those like IKEA like moving bags? She's got like 2 bags full. She's like dragging them, obviously, so heavy, and she's looking through the science fiction section, and she's like emptying out like whole boxes. Like, I'm doing that polite thing where you like look in a box and then you move down to the next one, and then you like move along with them like box by box. So I was just kind of waiting for her to be done, and then we'd move down kind of together. Yeah, anyway, so she is taking like whole boxes of books. Like, she'll be like, ooh, like Terry Brooks, and she'll take like every single book out of that box, and I was like, holy shit, she's emptying this whole section. I was like, I'm not gonna have a chance to even look at these books. Like, she's clearing out this section, dragging the IKEA bags along, and then I see this book sitting in a box like above her, and I'm like, honestly, at this point, she's taken her fair share of books. I might have to be like semi-rude and like grab this before she takes it, because yeah. So I wasn't really rude about it. I was very polite. I was like, I'm so sorry, excuse me, and I like yanked it because I was like, you're taking every book in this section, like let me have one book. Anyway, girl was crazy. I cannot believe how many books she'd taken. It was insane. Anyway, yeah, so, yes, the 5th season. This is a book about this day where 3 kind of horrible things happen in this one day. We have this woman called Essen, and she lives in this small town, and she comes home to find that her husband has brutally murdered her son and kidnapped her daughter. On this day as well, the kind of world-spanning empire, which is called the Sanzi, collapses, and most of its civilians are murdered by a revenge plot. And the third horrible thing is this kind of continent known as the Stillness. This huge rift opens up, and it's like spewing ash up into the sky, which is covering the sun and darkens the sky. Now SN, the mother, must chase after what's left of her family throughout the world, where obviously the sun is now covered, there's no sunlight, and there's now going to be kind of a fight for resources, for food and drinkable water. Essen doesn't care that the world around her is collapsing. All she cares about is getting to her daughter, and she will break the world herself to make that happen. End of the day for sure. I cannot believe it. $5 for the 5th season. So cool. Then I found volume 2 of Tokyo Ghoul by Shu Ishida. This was $6 whole. I normally have a rule where I don't buy sequels unless I've read the first book. So I kind of broke my rule a little bit with this, but I couldn't help myself. I really couldn't help myself. Yeah, I don't know. I just broke my rule because I was like, oh, it's in such good condition, and like I'll probably then regret it if I go and read Tokyo Ghoul and love it and then have to pay, you know, like $20 or something for the sequel when I know I could have got it at this. And then my other justification was, it's for charity, it's for Lifeline, so it's fine. Apparently, like, if it's for charity, no book buying rules like apply to it. So yeah, it was so funny. I was like getting checked out when I was paying this, like, it's all like volunteers obviously that run and, you know, take all the money and this sweet old white woman is serving me. And she's like, oh, what did you get, doll? And she's like looking at all this shit that I'm pulling up and obviously hasn't heard of any of these. And she's looking at the covers and she's like reading out all the titles and she's like, interesting. And then she gets to this one, she's like, and she's like, the fuck is this girl reading? This old sweet lady is obviously like not a fantasy or dystopian or manga reader, so it was quite funny just to see her like, look at what I've got. Anyway, yeah, that was, yeah, a little side note. But Tokyo Ghoul. The final book I got was Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Miro, again in fabulous condition, probably doesn't look like it's even been read, and this whole chunker of a book was $4 whole. So this is the first book in the Talents trilogy. I don't know what this book is actually about, other than it's a horror fantasy kind of book, so I'm just going to read you the blurb off my laptop, sorry. So this is set in England in 1882. Victorian London. Two children with mysterious powers are haunted by a figure of darkness, a man made of smoke. 16-year-old Charlie, despite a lifetime of brutality, doesn't have a scar on him. His body heals itself, whether he wants it to or not. And then we have Marlowe, a foundling from a railway freight cart, shines with a strange bluish light. He can melt or mend flesh. When two grizzled detectives are recruited to escort them north to safety, they are forced to confront the nature of a difference and belonging and the shadowy edges of the monstrous. What follows is a journey from the gaslit streets of London to an eerie estate outside of Edinburgh, where children with gifts, the talents, have been gathered. The world of the dead and the world of the living threaten to collide. And as secrets from the Institute unfurl, Charlie, Merlot, and the rest of the talents will discover the truth about their abilities and the nature of the force that is stalking them. The worst monsters sometimes come bearing the sweetest gifts. That line is really cool. Yeah. This sounds really, really fun. I can't say that I've heard much like about this book or anyone reviewing this book. It's got like a 3.81 on Goodreads, so not too bad. But it sounds so cool. I love the plot of this book. It's fully got me interested, and I will probably put off reading this book for so long just because of how thick and scary and big it is. So there we have it. Those are the 9 books I got at the Lifeline secondhand book fair. Let me know in the comments below, have you read any of the books that I hauled? Which ones should I prioritize? And what is a book that you have purchased recently? As always, all my social media links are in the description below. As well as the Lifeline phone number and the Lifeline website. Thank you so much again for watching. Give this video a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you would like to see more of my content, and I will see you in whatever the hell I post next. Bye!